A unique 4-grain recipe. Smooth up front with a little Kentucky kiss on the back. This is a bourbon for all of life's moments and celebrations. Available across the United States. We give back to those who wore the uniform and serve our communities.
The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veterans Voices. I'm excited. We're going to have a great show for you today. But if you are enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go to the website. That's lostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There's a couple ways you can help support us. You can go in there, click on that one-time donation link. You can become a patron with a monthly donation. Heck, you can go in and get you some cool merchandise, or you can advertise right here on the podcast. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. If you have checked them out, go back and check them out. It's a great organization doing some wonderful things, and it's tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
All right, here we are. I got Brad Driver here, Marine veteran. How you doing today, Brad?
I'm awesome, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing outstanding. I just got to say right off the bat, one, I love that you're in your motor or not motorhome, your travel trailer there. I think it's awesome. I love what you do on the internet, and I love watching your videos. So I want to say that for everybody to know. So yeah, I had to throw that out there. Do you want to do a quick shout out and let everybody know kind of what you got going on there?
Yeah, so I'm in an Airstream travel trailer. I've lived in this one for 2 years now. I've lived full-time in an RV at large for 15 years now. This is my fifth different one. Airstream's been my favorite by far. It's the most nimble, easiest to maintain, and the community has continued to give back to me, so that's been a really cool thing. I started a YouTube channel to keep my family informed, and this turned into something I had no idea was going to and didn't plan for it to. But it's been really nice to have an awesome community reach out to me every day. That's what I was doing on the phone before you called. I was talking to a guy about upgrading the solar and batteries and stuff. So it's been really fun.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, heck, I guess we can just jump into it. Let's just start out where you grew up. What was that like? And then what drew you to military service?
All right. I grew up in a little small town called Belton, South Carolina. It's in the northern part of South Carolina, Anderson County, near Clemson University. So Clemson Tiger fan as a kid growing up. And my grandfather was in the Army, and that's really the only military service that was in my immediate family.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he was in Korea. I say a young, dumb 16, 17-year-old kid working at a gas station just trying to get my life together. And a recruiter walked in, Ed Dillard, and he said, "Hey, you ever thought about joining the military?" I said, "No." He said, "You like to work out?" I said, "Yeah, I wrestle and play football." So he said, "Come join us for a workout this weekend on Saturday, the little pool league function." So I went for that, and I said, "Well, this seems like fun. I'm going to keep coming back to this if I can." So I did that. So I was either had just finished my sophomore year of high school or just started my junior year of high school. I can't remember what, but I did that delayed entry program until I could join. And then I joined the Marine Corps. Had no idea I was going to be around that long. Didn't mean to be around that long. I was going to do 4 years and move on about life, but kept offering me something cool, so I kept hanging around. And 25 years later, I left So, but,
Very nice.
I enjoyed sports growing up. I don't really know why the Marine Corps was such a big draw to me. I think the brotherhood and the cohesiveness, because
Right.
there's like all of us have drama in our family growing up, and a lot of weird things happened. Moved around a lot as a kid, but I say I'm a nomad. I've been a nomad my whole life, so I'll continue to do that. So even in retirement.
Nice, very nice. And then now, what year was it that you actually shipped off to boot camp?
1997.
97. Okay.
So Paris Island. I joined as an aviation Marine. I didn't know what specific MOS I was going to have, but I tell everybody everything that's really awesome that's happened to me in my life. First of all, if I were to open up a book and read my career chapter to chapter, I would tell somebody that it's fake. There's no way that could have ever happened. But every really cool thing that happened to me in my career and life, I was on my way to do something else, and there was a little detour. Something took me down a detour, which led me to something really amazing.
Right.
So I was going to Pensacola, after boot camp, MCT, Pensacola. You get in a little holding platoon. You don't know what job you're going to have until you get divvied out. But I happened to be on the cleaning crew, and I was sweeping down a hallway, young private, and I hear a briefing going on for the class that was like 3 weeks, a month ahead of me. And he's asking for volunteers to be crew chiefs, load masters, and aerial observers. And I didn't know what any of those things meant. But he said, you got to have a GT score of this and a swim qual of that, and, whatever the ASVAB scores and all the things were. So I knew I had all those in my brain. So I ran back to the barracks, and I put a quarter in a payphone and called my recruiter up. I said, hey, this is me. Here's what they just said. What do you think I should do? He said, run back and see if you can volunteer to be a crew chief. It'd be a really awesome job. So I ran back down, and it was a Marine gunnery sergeant who had given the brief, and he was like walking out of the room. The briefing was over, and I said, pardon me, gunnery sergeant. He said, what, Marine? I said, I heard you giving the brief. Here's my service record book. I have all the things. He looked through it real quick and said, run down the hall and talk to admin. I went and talked to them, and they said, all right, you're starting aircrew candidate school next week. I said, all right, sweet.
Wow.
So
how awesome is that?
All a random thing. I just happened to be, again, sweeping, doing something. Anyway, I finished that course. I go to SEER school in Maine.
Okay.
And, pretend to be a prisoner of war for a couple of weeks in Maine in December.
Now, how did you enjoy that? I say enjoy because,
enjoy in quotation mark.
Yeah, exactly. How was that for you?
I tell everybody, I remember pieces of that more vividly than I remember so many things in my life.
Yeah.
Because it had such a profound effect. And I don't, there's some physical aspects to it, but I think that emotionally and mentally, having gone through that, I became a much stronger mentally person. Even, boot camp and all the things from that, that made me more of a mentally stronger human than I was ever before.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah,
it's a really cool opportunity. And I wish more service members had an opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, you said you went through in winter as well, right?
Oh yeah, that was an added layer of fun. So, and the tough part is you're trying to evade capture, and you have to wear snowshoes, and you have to wear this big backpack, and you get the big parka. There's no way to evade capture looking like a green refrigerator walking through the woods. So you get caught. Everybody's going to get caught eventually, but
yeah.
Just when you think the training, the POW part is over, it's not. And just when you think it's over again, it's not. And just when you think it's over again, it's not. And finally, when you just like giving up hope, that's when they raise the American flag and everybody sings the national anthem. And it's one of the most emotional events. So it helped me grow. And I remembered that very, very vividly. That's been a long time ago, but I remember that more vividly than I remember boot camp.
Yeah. I'm sure it sticks with you for sure. I mean,
yeah,
it's not an easy thing to do.
No. From there, I went to New River. I went to 46 mechanic school, and then I went to the crew chief section, and then I was flying at squadron there in New River for a while. And one day at the end of flying, like on a Friday afternoon, the sergeant major yells at me across the flight line. I late, like 3:30 in the afternoon. He says, "Driver, yes, Sergeant Major, get your ass over here." And I ran over there. He says, "All right, Monday morning, I need you to be standing outside my office in Service Charlie's at 0730. All right, Sergeant Major, go away." And back then, you're just a dumb kid. You don't know. You just do what you're told.
Yeah.
I didn't ask any more questions. And so Monday morning, I'm standing outside his office, me and one of the Marine, and Lieutenant Colonel and a Master Gunny came by. It was the HMX recruiting team, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
I noticed the little blue badges on their uniform, but I didn't know, still didn't know what they were. Anyway, they interviewed me and the other guy for a couple, whatever the questions they asked, and handed us a stack of paperwork to fill out, which was our top secret security clearance.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know any of this, but 6 months later, I get a call from admin. It's like, "Hey, you got orders to Quantico." I said, "What?" I didn't know. Dumb kid. I said, "What's a Quantico?" They said, "HMX-1. I said, "What is HMX-1? They said, "It's the Presidential Helicopter Squadron, dummy." I said, "Yeah, okay. Me? Like, me?" I said, "Yeah." So I packed my stuff and drove to Quantico. I flew on 46s for another 6 months there, and then I got the clearance finally went through. So I'd been in the Marine Corps for, I don't know, 3 years at this point, close to.
Okay.
And then I went to Sikorsky School, and I learned H3 and a whole nother thing. And I fly back up to Marine One and fly the dignitaries around, the vice president around, all that other mess until I finally became a Marine One crew chief in 2000. So I flew right at the very end of Clinton and the first of Bush there, and all through 9/11 and all those fun times. So it was
no kidding.
super unique job, and traveled the world. I stayed gone for about 300 days a year, TAD somewhere.
Wow, no kidding.
Busy time.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit of like what was some of the experiences that you had, good, bad, while you were there.
I always enjoyed going to Camp David because, the whole team, the whole White House and the whole everybody up there, because it's a small little place. Like it's a state park. You drive right by it. You don't even know it's there until you drive by it. But I got to run with President Bush a few times. I got to play pool and bowl with the Clintons a couple of times.
Wow.
Met a number of celebrities up there who were visiting, just invited up for the weekend. I was there during the Middle East peace talks with Yasser Arafat. And,
oh, wow.
So that was a pretty neat experience. I got to meet all those folks. And then anywhere we went on the road, like it was always neat to me to land in Podunk Airport with the Marine One helicopter and just, Joe Smith pumping gas for you out there. And I'd say, "You want to sit in the president's chair?" It was such a unique experience. And I always try to invite to see and talk to folks. I've never had a problem just talking to a crowd of folks at any time. So
yeah,
really enjoyed my time there. Really enjoyed my time.
That's really cool.
I say this hand right here is shaking 5 U.S. presidents' hands.
No kidding. Dang.
I got to meet Jimmy Carter during those eras. He was doing some event. I got to meet Jimmy Carter. I got to obviously the Clinton era, and then Bush 41. But while I was with Bush 41, 43 was there, so I got to hang out with. I was with 43, but I got to hang out with 41 for a minute at Camp David a few times.
Yeah.
And I met Obama later on.
No kidding.
Doing some other things. So I met Joe Biden, but he was not president yet, so I can't count it. Shook his hand as president, but so really 6, but only 5, and when they were called the president.
Holy cow!
But I went around the world. I went all over the world with that job. It was really neat, really neat.
Yeah. Now, as the crew chief, like whenever I picture Marine One, it's somebody walks off, they're standing there at the ladder well as he's coming down, salute type of deal. Was that what you were doing specifically?
Correct. So your job is to pre-flight the helicopter, post-flight the helicopter, work on it, and diagnose mechanical issues while you're flying. Also open the doors and handle anything that's going on in the back. And you're back up to the pilots looking outside for traffic and watching all the controls and monitoring all that stuff too. So it's a pretty.
Oh, I lost you.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing. Mic check, mic check. Oh, I don't hear you now. Now say something. Nothing?
I'm not sure what happened, man.
Okay. So you can't hear me?
How about now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now on speaker, but it's loud.
Okay.
It's not very loud.
Oh, yeah, I hear you just fine, so
All
I'm
right.
good on my end. You can't hear me?
I got nothing. I can't hear you at all.
Nothing, huh? I don't know. What about now? Anything now? Okay.
Stupid technique.
Pause there. Okay,
Okay.
we're good now.
All right. I don't remember what your last question was. Sorry about that.
Yep, me either. I wish I remember. I don't.
It's okay. I
We'll
was
just
talking
move
about.
on, you know?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I know we talked about Marine One a bit and what it was like
Mhm.
flying and what my job was. He was asking. So I say a flying mechanic was the best job description I could have.
Yeah.
And then if you're ever looking at the helicopter and you see two Marines standing outside the door,
hmm
one of those is the crew chief and one of those is a security Marine. So HMX, the unit, has about, I don't know, 100 military police Marines who do
Oh wow.
security for that. So they protect the helicopters all the time. And then that's their whole job is protect the helicopters. The Secret Service is the one who protects the president. So should
Right.
anything go wrong, but there's always a Marine MP, military police, a trained MP who is a security Marine wherever the helicopters are. So sitting in a hangar, out on the flight deck or wherever it might be, there's always an MP. So sometimes
Hmm.
you see two Marines standing inside the door, but if there's the crew chief flies with and lands with and opens the doors and does all that stuff. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, that's a very interesting job, and very unique. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So
no,
to get it so young too, right? Young in the Marine Corps is pretty awesome.
crazy, 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 crazy. You know, it was really neat to be able to call my grandparents and say, hey, turn on CNN in about 3 hours, and you'll see me land at the South Lawn. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And I got to fly over my little town one time. That was really nice, and
Nice.
uh, landed in some really neat spots too.
Very cool. Very cool. And now, how long did you spend doing that?
I was at the unit for 4 years, but you can only do Marine One. Well, at that time, I don't know what the rules are today, but at the time, you could only do Marine One for 1 year. So there's
Oh
four
wow.
crew chiefs and four pilots. So the four crew chiefs, one would rotate off every 3 months, and a new guy would rotate on. So that's how that worked. Similar with the pilots. Pilots had a little different thing because it was the CO of the unit was he was obviously a Marine One pilot and had been there previously. Like they required a second or a third tour to be the commander there.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Um, uh, and then they had four other Marine One pilots. So you got to have so many flight hours to even apply for going there, and then top secret clearance. There's a lot of restrictions to get there, obviously, rightfully so.
Right.
But really unique, really, really unique thing to do. And I'm
hmm
still shocked that I got to do it. So I look back at photos that I have and can't believe that I got to be in that role.
Yeah. Now, what was your rank when you went up there?
I got there as a corporal and I left as a sergeant.
Okay.
So
Very nice. Wow. And now, where did you go after that?
Paris Island again, glutton for punishment. I went to be a drill instructor.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it was 14, which seems excessive, but 14 training cycles in the company. So after DI school, I went to swim school to be a McQuist swim
Yeah.
instructor. And then I went to Echo Company in 2nd Battalion, and I worked in that. I never left. I never did a, I don't know what they call it now, where you go, you're not working in active platoon. I worked in the company office as a company clerk for one cycle, and then I went back to work. So
Wow.
I
You
was
said 11 cycles?
14 total.
14 total cycles. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and one of those is working as a company clerk, working in the first sergeant's office, so you really get no time off.
Right. Yeah.
But I
True.
did drill instructor, heavy, senior, clerk, senior again, and then I was a series gunner sergeant for a couple cycles.
Wow. Man, you were working out hard while you were out there.
Yeah, that was a rocket ship. I mean, I got meritorious promoted out there to staff sergeant, and then I got to be a series chief, and then I went back to the 46s again in Okinawa, Japan. So I was at 265, the Dragons.
Okay.
We were deployed on the MEU for the majority of my time in Okinawa, and all around the South Pacific. Got to see some really cool stuff. Got to go to Iwo Jima, floated around to China, to Australia, to a lot of the islands around the Pacific. I got to see a lot of neat stuff doing the MEU. I got, again, crazy things happened to Brad, but I was a recipient of a meritorious promotion again during the MEU cycle there to Gunny.
Nice.
So I've been on a rocket ship ride. I mean, I was at like 9 years in the Marine Corps at this point and got promoted to Gunny.
No kidding. Dang.
Yeah. It was nuts.
That's awesome.
I was in maintenance control for a while, and I ran a flight line shop for a while, and then really enjoyed my time. Aviation's a beast. It's always work. It's never slows down. It's always loud. It's always noisy. And, trying to balance keeping planes flying with Marine Corps necessary things. It's always a balance. It's a struggle for any commander to fly, or any commander of an aviation unit to find.
Right.
And, but I enjoyed it. I did the advanced course and the career course there on Okinawa up at Camp Hansen, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I enjoyed enjoyed the schools, and then I got orders. I applied for AMOI duty, so I went to. There's a list of schools you got to apply for that's open. I was in the Philippines actually when I found out the news that I'd been accepted to that program. So I flew out of the Philippines on the C-130 back to Okinawa, packed up my household goods, and moved to Virginia. And I went to work at Virginia Military Institute.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's a quick transition, though. I mean, you find out
nuts.
and just fly back and leave.
From the time I found out, because the board, I don't know what happened to the board that year, but the board got delayed because they didn't have enough applicants, or they couldn't fill the slots or something.
Yeah.
So the board got delayed, but then I had to check in by May, and this was like April. I had to check in by May, and then because I had to go to OCS to work Officer Candidate School for the summer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was 37 days, I think it was, from the time I had orders to the time I was in Virginia from the Philippines. So,
holy cow.
That's
pretty wild.
But working at VMI was really nice. I had a midshipman battalion of 500, roughly 400 and something, close to 500 midshipmen. But the reason is because every freshman coming into the school there, freshman and sophomore, have to belong to the ROTC. Once you get to your junior and senior year, if you're going to continue with your military path, you can stay with it, but you don't have to do like all the extracurricular ROTC stuff. So we had a huge midshipman battalion of Navy and Marines there.
Wow.
I was the only enlisted Marine as a gunnery sergeant. I had a captain and a major, and the colonel was the professor of naval science. We had 4 Navy lieutenants and a Navy XO. So we had a pretty big staff, but I was the only enlisted guy, period.
Is that pretty normal to just have the one enlisted, or?
Yeah, there's sometimes there's a Navy chief there, or Navy petty officer doing some stuff, but typically typically it's 1 and 1. Like you got a captain and a gunny, or a major and a mass sergeant, or whatever the combinations are.
Right.
It depends on the school, really. So, but I actually had a chance to teach class because I already had a degree at this point.
Okay.
And we had to petition the Navy, Navy Education Command, for me to be a primary instructor for the Naval Science 101 classes and 102 classes, because it's supposed to be an officer teaching.
Right.
So I was the only, I think back then, I know I was back then. I don't know if there's any changes now because that's, 15 years ago, 13 years ago. I was the only enlisted Marine teaching a naval science class in any institution ever.
Wow.
So that was a really neat thing. I got to teach and be a part of that. Worked at Officer Candidate School during the summertime and back there in the wintertime. And
Now, how
throughout the school
many
years.
is it? Like just one cycle that you do when you're there in the summer? Like, how does that work?
For OCS, it's just a summer cycle,
Yeah. Okay.
and there's three things you can do. So there's Corps Trimid, Corps Training for Midshipmen. Corps Trimid is an acronym. That's where all the going into their junior year, they can go through Corps Trimid, Navy and Marine. So they do 2 weeks with the Marine Corps, 2 weeks on a submarine, 2 weeks on a
Oh, I see.
aircraft carrier, and 2 weeks on a submarine, or what they rotate them around. So
Right.
I did that one summer at New River. So I was showing them doing the Marine thing for 2 weeks for the whole summer. Had a different group of kids come in, and I worked officer candidate school the other 2 summers. So, and you can do Bridgeport. You can go out to Bridgeport and work out at Bridgeport as one of the
Really?
other options, but I never got to do that because that's after the Marine Corps midshipmen, after their sophomore year, they go to Bridgeport to do a summer cycle at Bridgeport, and then after their junior year, they go to officer candidate school.
Wow. I had
Yeah.
no idea about that. That's pretty cool.
You're making me remember stuff I hadn't thought about in so long. I'm shocked I pulled that out.
Wow. No, that's awesome. I had no clue that they would go out to Bridgeport. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I tell a lot of enlisted Marines don't understand what it takes to be a Marine officer. And if you've been an ROTC from your freshman year of college and then you joined the Marine Corps as an officer, you've been through Corps Trimid, you've been through Bridgeport, you've been through officer candidate school, all the military school where I was, and then you go to TBS, and then you come out to the fleet after you're So here's the way I used to explain it, and this is the easiest way to equate it in my mind. As a Marine drill instructor at Parris Island training enlisted recruits, I think the highest platoon PFT average we ever had was that broke the depot record was like a 228 platoon average. So,
Wow.
just above first class, but that was the
Yeah.
platoon average of 80 recruits. My first cycle working at officer candidate school, the 80 candidates we had there, their platoon PFT average was a 294.
Are you serious? The average.
So the average. So you think about the difference in a 228 or 9 to a 294 PFT average. You can apply that to everything across the board, from enlisted leaving boot camp to officers leaving TBS. And that's the intelligence, intellectual capability, wares about themselves in the world, and all the things like that. So I think it's many enlisted Marines just don't understand what it takes to go through that path. I'm not saying every officer is built equally, and not every enlisted Marine is built equally either, but it's a pretty big process to get officers in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're dedicating 4 years to get a degree, and then having to do all the summer activities as well as ROTC, all that type of stuff. So it's a lot goes into it for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So from there, I went back to flying for just a short, 3 months, because they had phased the 46 out of the Marine Corps by this point. So 2008 to 11 was my time at VMI. So 2011 into 2012, I was at the last remaining seats, 46 Squadron in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
As the chief instructor there. But again, it was just a few months. And then I got on a billet with 1MEF, 1MEF Forward, and I went to Afghanistan with them.
Oh, okay.
So.
And what was the billet that you were holding for that?
PSD. So for the Marine, the general. The MEF CG, I was his PSD chief and lead and all that fun stuff. So I was in Afghanistan for 14 months with 1MEF Forward. Spent a lot of time walking around in bad guy country, because General Mark Gerganis was the CG there at the time, and he loved to be out and was out all the time.
Did you know a Marine that worked Marroquin, last name Marroquin?
Yeah.
Rob Marroquin?
Yeah.
He's one of my buddies.
Cool.
He was out there at that time. Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he has mentioned your name before. I'm not 100% on that, but
yeah. I hadn't thought about that name in a while either. Yeah. It's neat because I'm on the text chain with the general, the chief of staff, the sergeant major, and all those folks every year. We all happy birthday and all that stuff, because that just passed, and it's really nice. I still have that close relationship with all those folks, and from an enlisted standpoint, I got to watch the general interact with everybody from every rank, and I got to watch this Sergeant Major Tanksley, Harrison Tanksley. I got to watch him interact with every Marine of every rank, and these guys have been, 30 plus years in the Marine Corps by that point. So just watching that and interacting with that, and then I got invited to, all the MEF Sergeant Major, the Division Sergeant Major, the Wing Sergeant Major, the Mall Sergeant Major, every Sergeant Major would come over there and they would have a group. I got to sit next to that and listen to that conversation. So it was a really wonderful education thing for me. And then being with the general all the time, he was such a great mentor and great guy. So had a good time. We had some scary days, obviously, like everybody does in country, but for the most part, I had a pretty unique experience. Again, goes back to that. If I read that book, I would never imagine that happened to me.
Yeah.
I got selected for promotion to first sergeant while I was there, and got promoted in country to first sergeant. And then we returned shortly after that, and I went to 1st Battalion, 5th Marines as a company first sergeant.
Okay.
So I had weapons company to start with, then I had a line company, Charlie company, and then headquarters company after that. So I was at 1-5 for almost 4 years, right at 4 years. We did the 1st Battalion size rotation force to Darwin. We did a couple Bridgeport cycles, a lot of time in the field, doing all infantry fun stuff. So
tons of that, I'm sure. Yeah.
And
now, how was that for you? You're coming from the air wing. Now you're in the infantry battalion and everything. Like, was it a culture shock at all, or was it fairly normal for you? Like, how did that work?
I think because I had spent so much time, at VMI and working at Officer Candidate School and doing TBS preparation grunt style things, and my level of fitness was probably the fittest I've ever been in my life during those years. I was pretty awesome. I used to tell I could do 50 dead hang pull-ups at that point. I could run 3 miles in like 18:10, 18:15, somewhere in that range, and hump a pack for days. I was a beast, an absolute beast at that time in my life. But
holy cow.
I never looked at it as a culture shock. I think the Marines, everybody says, well, you're coming from a different part of the Marine Corps. Yes, that's true, but Marines are Marines. And I had 2 great company gunnies. I really had those guys were to help. I leaned on those when I didn't understand or didn't know. Yeah. And I spent time out. Like I didn't like being in my office. I was always out doing something with the Marines. I love people. Like every weekday, every morning of the week, I took one of the platoons out differently, and we did PT together.
Yeah.
I just watched what they did. I helped clean rifles and carry gear around Bridgeport and wherever we went deployed. And unfortunately, I destroyed my left knee while I was in the latter half of my time there. That's when I went up to headquarters company. But I had to get a new MCL, new ACL put in my left knee, so I couldn't.
Jeez.
I was out of commission for a bit, but still had a great time, and had wonderful mentors. The sergeants major that I had there were wonderful mentors, and I still consider those guys great friends. And the other first sergeants I had a chance to serve beside was really great too. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, but what a storied battalion to go to as well.
Oh, for real. And I tell everybody, I said one of the neatest things I ever had to put on my uniform was the French Fourragé, and that's one of the hardest things I ever had to take off.
So, I could see that for sure. Yeah,
really cool to be a part of that and wear that and carry that legacy for a while.
Wow. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things that you look at the Marine Corps and the history and all that type of stuff, and then you hear about 5th Marines, you're like, yep. 5th Marines, 6th Marines, those are the probably 2 most storied battalions that there are.
Absolutely. Yeah. So such a unique opportunity to do that, and I'm really thankful for the time I got spent there. I did go to an I for a year in Louisiana, so 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marines, or
okay,
I think 223, in right at Barksdale Air Force Base, Shreveport, Louisiana, and I did that for almost a year. I got selected for sergeant major that year out of the blow zone. But crazy things happened to me. I'd been at that unit for like 3 months, and the board came out. My buddy Jake calls me. He goes, "Dude, you just got selected for sergeant major. I said, shut shut up,
Yeah.
man. So, I thought he was messing with me. He said, no, for real. The list, I'm even making the list right now. So I never thought that I would be promoted to sergeant major there. But I got selected and I stayed there for another few months until I could move on to my next job. But
Right.
um,
Wow.
yeah,
That's incredible. Out of the below zone. I mean, you're
yeah,
obviously up to this point in your career, you're doing everything right. I mean, 2 meritorious promotions. You're just, you're on point. So
yeah.
doesn't surprise me at that point.
Like it was a rocket ship ride, man. Just a
Yeah.
rocket ship ride all the time. And I never slowed down enough to appreciate what I was doing at the time. I look back on the things with fond memories, but again, it was just, you're on a rocket ship every day.
Yeah.
It's just, I never know what's going to happen. And so
Wow.
sergeant major was cool. It blows my mind that I got to wear that rank, and I got to wear that rank for 5 years. Just being a Marine was pretty awesome. And I
Now,
thought first
how
sergeant
many years
was
in were you when you got promoted, like actually pinned on?
19 years and 6 months.
Okay.
I think it's something close to that.
Right on.
Yeah, not far past 19 years. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe 19 years and 3 months, something like that. Anyway, I had my pick. Well, the monitor gave me 3 choices. He said, you can go to 6 Marines at Lejeune, you can go to Hawaii to an infantry battalion, or you can go on recruiting duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I've been in the infantry battalion for this point 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go try something different. So I picked recruiting duty.
Oh, wow.
And he said, well, your options are, you're in Louisiana, so we'll just send you down to, you'll just stay in Louisiana. I said, okay. So I go down and visit with the sergeant major down there. We had a ride along. I was with them for a couple of days, watched a couple of their functions, and then I went back to work. And then the monitor calls me back and said, you can't go there. He's got to stay there 1 more year, pick another spot. And I'm like, what else is open? He said, I don't remember what the options were, but Salt Lake City and then a couple other spots. And I'm like, Salt Lake City is great. He said, you sure? I said, yep, Salt Lake City. So I went to Salt Lake City as the sergeant major recruiting there.
Nice.
And turned out to be one of the neatest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Recruiting, most people don't know, and I didn't understand at the time how absolutely difficult that job is. The whole time I was a drill instructor, I was like, can we not get better recruits down here? And then I was a sergeant major recruiting duty, and I used to go talk to drill instructors at both coasts, and I would hear the same problems. I said, listen, I had the same conversations with myself and my peers when I was here doing this job, but now I see it. Now I get it. And it's something, and this was when General Mattis was in the office of SecDef, and he made the comment like 72 or 75% of Americans between 17 and 25 cannot join the military, don't want to, cannot, because they can't pass the ASVAB was the number one reason.
Whoa.
Number 2 was like, I can't pass the medical physical. Number 3 was I can't pass the PT physical. And number 4 was like drugs or alcohol or some law enforcement involvement. But the number one reason is that they couldn't pass a 10th grade test, which is the ASVAB test.
That's bad.
Scary.
Yeah.
So for the future of our country. Anyway, I hope there's some changes afoot right now with our current Secretary of Health and current administration. But anyway, it was a super tough job. And, I had Salt Lake was my base, but we went all the way to Las Vegas. So I had 6 hours to get to the Marines down in Vegas. I went all the way north to Boise, Idaho. So 6 hours to drive up there to see the Marines in Boise. I had 3 hours to Rock Springs, Wyoming, and 3 hours to whatever the little town in Nevada was. So I had a giant swath of land.
Yeah.
And we covered all of Utah, most of Nevada, a little bit of Washington and Oregon, a little bit of Montana, all of Idaho, and some of Wyoming, and a little bit of Colorado. So it was I was busy
I imagine you were on the road quite a bit.
All the time, like 3 to 5 days a week, every week for 3 years. I was out visiting somebody or down at San Diego to recruiter school to pick up new Marines, or at Parris Island, seeing the stuff there, talking about the because that was 4th Battalion was females were only there still.
Right.
and then we would have meetings at the district headquarters, and then region headquarters, and then headquarters Marine Corps, and all the things that go along with the craziness that is recruiting.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
but it's a really neat thing, and I think any Marine, young Marines, we all say, well, I want to be a drill instructor, because at that point in your life, that's the person who's had the most impact.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then later in life, you realize, man, if that recruiter hadn't come and touched me that one day and changed the course of my life, I don't know where I would be right now. And
Right.
then you start appreciating the other people who touched your life along the way. The mentor you had at this unit, the mentor you had at that unit, the person who said, try it this way, and it worked out for you well, and the instructors at all over schools, and so on and so on and so on. It's really, really, really neat. So,
yeah, it's amazing when you look back over your career and you look at all the different, impact points that you have along the way, and those individuals that were there with you.
Yes, for sure.
It's pretty cool to look back and see it, though.
Yeah. And then after recruiting duty, I went to Marshall Com in Norfolk, Virginia. I was the headquarters sergeant major there. I worked with Colonel Mark Reed was the CEO for most of my time there, and I had some it was a unique experience. And working at a headquarters unit like that, it had like 30 of every rank: 30 master gunnies, 30 master sergeants, 30 gunnies, 30 lieutenant colonels, 30 colonels, 30 lance corporals. Like it was almost exactly 30 of every rank, except for private. And just to be around.
You were there when I was a senior enlisted over at the School of Music on Little Creek.
Yeah. I think we were at the same time.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that job. For some aspects of it were really amazing, and some of it was just, I thought the unit was just a speed bump getting in the way of everybody else in the Marine Corps. But it made me realize that as the farther you move along at that level, the less impact you can have on the Marines. So the higher the headquarters kind of billets are really, you just get separated with the layers of the cake that are. So I have some medical issues, and I met my wife Blair. We got married in 2019, right before I left to go to that job. So between those two things, it was time for me to go home.
Yeah. So, makes sense. And I heard
somebody say the other day that I get to be who I could be now, not who I have to be. And that's kind of they were looking at it from a totally different perspective, like growing up in a bad situation. Like some kid who grows up in Afghanistan, their potential to be a really awesome, really nice human doesn't exist. They have to turn into what they have to turn into based on their circumstance.
Right.
And from being in active duty for so long, and the billet you're in, the rank you hold, or whatever circumstance you find you're in, the duty station you're at, some of you has to be what you have to be, and you can't be what you want to be, or can't be what you were born to be, kind of thing. So
true. Yeah.
I love what I get to do now. I love to give back to the community I'm in. I love to help folks. I talk to folks and teach folks and help folks all the time do what I do, learning how to use these trailers and work on these trailers. I still stand in front of crowds all the time. I still mentor folks and teach people all the time. And but I love the freedom that I have to travel the country, and I love to go see all the wonderful things that I wore a uniform for 25 years for.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You went down to the school for RV school down in Texas.
That's where I'm currently sitting.
Okay.
Now I am here for a number of reasons. When I retired, I got a job working for Airstream. I didn't mean to get a job. They hired me because they saw me on YouTube.
Right.
And I worked for a dealership in Utah and Wyoming, and really enjoyed that for a year and a half. And then Blair, my wife, and I, we hiked the Appalachian Trail together. So if we walked from Georgia to Maine in the summer of 2023. And then once that was over, I said, I don't really want to go settle down anywhere. So we've been just like on the go ever since. But this opportunity to come to the school opened up. So at working for Airstream, I know how to work on RVs in general because I've lived in them for so long, and I know how to work on Airstream
Mhm.
because I worked for Airstream. But here is a GI Bill pays for it. If you have any GI Bill left, if you know any veterans out there who want to come learn about their RVs or how to live in, work on, be a
Mhm.
certified instructor or certified inspector or technician for, they can come to the school here. There's a lot of veterans here in the course with me, but
Right.
I'm really here. I've helped a guy open a business up in Fort Worth area called Ramble. That's the shirt I have on.
Okay.
Ramble Trailer Works is called. We're going to open up a sister store in North Carolina pretty soon, and hopefully a third location in Utah in a year or so. But it's Airstream mostly, it's supposed to be an Airstream only, but we will help other people with other models. But
Mhm.
Airstream upgrades. So if you want a solar
Oh,
package or a
nice.
lithium package or some other upgrade things on your Airstream, that's what we do there. So I'm really here looking for a technician, and I think I found a couple guys to come work for me at those locations. And
Ah, very
uh,
cool.
so I'm here. I'm here subtly interviewing folks because I get to watch them go through the classes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, are you going through the classes
Yes,
as well?
yes,
You are. Okay.
yes.
All right.
But
Very
it's
cool.
the classes are very generic to the RV industry. So they kind of generically talk about motorhomes, fifth wheels,
Mhm.
travel trailers, Airstreams. You know what, like lowest cheapest models you can buy to the highest end things and everything in
Right.
between. So it's hard to fit all the great information in that um, into
Yeah.
these few weeks on all the brands and all the models and all the things. But it's a great starting point to get
Yeah,
you
that
going.
makes sense.
So
Wow.
I, um, there's plenty more education to be had. So
Yeah.
learning should never stop.
Very true. Very true. I like that.
So
And then, so that's where you are now. That's what you've been doing. And are you going to settle down in one of those locations, or are you just going to keep
no,
traveling?
I'm gonna keep moving. I have no off ramp to the RV nomad lifestyle. I will
Yeah.
stop into all the locations on occasion, make some videos, do some upgrades to my trailer, and keep
Yeah.
on moving. But I've done almost everything you can do to an Airstream. I've done to this trailer, like from
No
a bit.
kidding.
And I've done all the work myself, except for putting the generator on. I've done every little upgrade I've done to my trailer. So I built my big lithium bank, my big inverter bank, big solar package, all the stuff I've done to my trailer. I've done it all. So
Holy cow.
uh,
That is
it's been
awesome.
it's been fun, and I teach people how to do that too. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to be able to help people get off grid and achieve their goals.
Right. Right. Now, if somebody wants to get in contact with you somehow, or want to go to the what is it, Ramble? Is that right?
Yeah, Rambo Trailer Works. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the process? What are they going to do to get to you guys?
So if you want to talk to Brad, specifically me, my channel is spelled out 13 Adventures. And people ask, where'd you get that name from? So on the periodic table of elements, number 13 is aluminum. I live in my shiny aluminum adventure mobile here. So 13 Adventures is where that comes from. So
Nice.
13 Adventures, website, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X, all the
It's all the
things.
same. 13 Adventures.
Uh, and my website, 13adventures.com. If you want to email me specifically, Brad at 13adventures.com. And if you're looking for Ramble, the website, they had to take the website down for some maintenance on the back end side of the website. So the website's coming up at rambletrailerworks.com. The Greensboro one, I'm not sure what the name of that's going to be exactly yet, Greensboro, North Carolina, but
Mhm.
I think it's just maybe Ramble Trailer Works, pick North Carolina or pick Texas. And if you are looking for an upgrade to your trailer, you want a consultation on like which one you should buy, you want a consultation on what upgrades you should have, any of those things like that,
Mhm.
me or a number of other people can hop on the phone with you and walk you down that path. So our goal is to help people find what they need, not help people spend money. So I try to keep
Yeah.
it as cheap as possible, giving you the minimum things you need to achieve the goals you have right now. I don't want people walking in and spending 20 grand that they're never going to use.
Yeah. 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 That's a great, I don't know, that's a great thing, because how many times do people walk into a dealership or something and they're saying, hey, I want to upgrade this, or I want to do
Yeah.
this. And then, they're like, oh, it's going to cost, X amount of money, which is
Yeah.
ungodly, when
Yes.
you could really get it done for much cheaper if you know what you're doing.
Absolutely, and that's what we try to do. And even like if you've never bought an Airstream before, but you've RV'd before, we'll sit down and give you a consultation on. All right, here's some things you need to think about.
Hmm.
Here's some questions you need to ask the dealership because I have insider information having worked at the dealership, and here's questions you need to ask and things you need to demand and want. So it's been a fun process. And generally, when people are in their Airstream, they're on vacation, so they're happy. So I get to be around happy people pretty much all the time.
Nice. I like that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, shoot. Is there anything maybe we missed that you want to talk about?
I'm so profoundly grateful for the life that I've had and the people I run into and the people I get to shake hands with every day. I'm so grateful for the Marine Corps, and I love my fellow Marines, and I love this country. Blair and I have, since we got married in 2019, we have been to every single national park except Guam and Puerto Rico. So we've been on the go. Yeah.
Wow.
And just so fortunate to live in this wonderful world that we do, and continue to be blessed every day. We're just super thankful for our lives. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
to all the people that I got to stand shoulder to shoulder with for all those years, thank you. For all the people who helped push me down a path of the right directions, thank you. And life is great. I'm just a happy human.
Very nice. Everybody should be like that, just a happy human. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, heck, at the end of these things, I always have these rapid fire questions. And if you don't mind, I'm going to shoot them out at you.
Fire away.
All right. What is your proudest military moment?
Earning the drill instructor ribbon, because that's the hardest thing I ever worked for.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's very true. All right. What is your most embarrassing military moment?
My cover flying off my head when I was outside of Marine One and President was walking up.
Oh, okay.
The wind just took it.
That's got to be fun. Oh,
yeah.
Man. If you could be one military leader for a day, who would that be?
History or current?
Anytime.
If I could meet, or I'm sorry, if I could be.
If you could be one military.
Man,
there's so many out there.
I would like, only because I've sat and spent time with him, I'd like to spend time in General Mattis's shoes one day. I know that's kind of a cliche thing because everybody likes General Mattis, but really, really amazing guy. I really had a chance to spend some time with him after he'd retired, and really, really fascinating guy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. If you could change one rule in the military, what would it be?
Can I put my hands in my pockets, please?
What a fun rule. I love
it.
Mine would be the walking on the grass thing. I just walked on the grass anyways. I was like, whatever. Yeah. Got to get where you're going.
That's right.
What is one lesson or skill that you learned that you still use today?
Be true to your word.
Yeah, that's good.
Handshake and a handshake and a verbal commitment. Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah. Man, in the zombie apocalypse, what will be your weapon of choice and what anthem will be playing?
All the weapons I have right now. I got my E&E plant here in my RV and my truck, so I've already got what I got. And let's play the national anthem, man. I'm proud of that.
Oh, okay, all right, I like it. All right, knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
100%.
And then, as always, I always give you a time for words of wisdom or anything you'd like to leave for the listeners.
Be you. Be true to whoever you are, and know that you evolve over time. The Brad that I am today is not the Brad I was at 18. It's not the Brad I was at 25. It's not the Brad I was as a sergeant major. I don't forget and don't regret all those things, or don't look back with fondness, but I'm a different human I'm a better human today. But make yourself 1% better today than you were yesterday in whatever aspect of your life you're in, and just be a good human.
Man, yeah, that's great. Man, Brad, thanks for coming on and doing this. I really enjoyed listening to your story, man.
I appreciate you bringing back memories of stuff I hadn't thought about in a long time. It's so weird to me because I'm Brad, the Airstream guy now, and then when somebody asks me a Marine question, it takes me a minute to turn those gears back on because they're so dormant.
Right.
Because I'm largely removed from all of it, and it's really unique to sit here and talk about these things again because it's something I don't think about often.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one thing when I was traveling around that I noticed is there's so many veterans in the RV community, like at the different parks that I stayed at and everything. They're everywhere,
Absolutely.
or at least
And
that's what I saw. But
you're right. And military campgrounds, military base campgrounds are really
yeah,
nice as well. So I
yeah, oh
really
yeah,
enjoyed the time to get to spend there. The comfort of being on base and shopping at the commissary and going to the gym and doing all things and
very
just
true.
having conversations with other veterans. And I watched the documentary the other day. If anybody's not watched, it's on Netflix. It goes to a group of Navy SEALs getting ibogaine for PTSD.
Hmm. I
Something
haven't
in
seen that.
war. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm blanking on the name at the moment, but we've lost 7,100 service members since 9/11 in combat. 7,100.
Mhm.
We've lost 33,000 to suicide. So don't ever not listen to a veteran's story. Don't ever not have a conversation with them, but don't ever not think that they're in a place they shouldn't be, or think they're good, because we all need we all need love, we all need a hug, we all need somebody to listen, we all need somebody to hold our hand on occasion.
Very
And
true.
far too many people are too proud to ask for it, and far too many
Mhm.
people don't have someone to ask it to, because they
Yeah,
live in a hermit place because they're scared to go out. But call the people you serve with, chat with them on occasion. Don't lose touch with that, and find your next purpose in life. I used to tell people, don't ever walk away from something without something to walk towards.
mm,
So
that's
what
good.
are you walking towards next, man? I don't know what that is. So I love that you're out here inspiring others and telling everybody's story. I appreciate you reaching out, and it's really great to see you and great to hear from you. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Absolutely. I had a great time. It couldn't be better.
Yes,
What a
sir.
better way to spend my day than talking to you. That's what I got to say.
Outstanding. Outstanding. I feel the same way, brother. I feel the same way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brad, like you were talking about, always in the show talking about veteran suicide and ways to get help. For everybody out there, don't forget, you can always dial 988 press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know Brad cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to a buddy you serve with, ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, Brad, one last time, thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated, change your socks.
No more 22. Honor the journey and finish the fight.